Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping the Orioles and Yankees game one of this series. This was the series opener today. The game ended like 30 seconds ago. Wanted to get this episode up for y'all. But yeah, big win. Big win for the Orioles. The Orioles win this game 5-3. A Ramon Urias home run late in the game and a Gunnar Henderson RBI single to extend his hitting streak to a 14-game hitting streak also as well. But those two hits late in the 8th inning were able to kind of put the nail in the coffin in this game and give the Orioles the lead, and eventually that's the reason why the Orioles did end up winning this game. The bullpen came out here today and had some really clutch innings for us this game. Tomoyuki Sugano did struggle a little bit in this game. You know, he got into a lot of traffic. We had to pull him a little bit early, but the bullpen was able to really clutch up, hamper it down, and do its thing, and really win us this game. Ramon Urias broke the tie with a solo home run. Gunnar Henderson made it a 2-run game with an RBI single. Gunnar Henderson was actually not in the lineup today. He wasn't in the lineup at all today, but he did come off the bench as a pinch hitter, and he also was able to extend his hitting streak to 14 games, and he had a 13-game hitting streak going into today. He wasn't in the lineup. He risked his 13-game hitting streak, and he ended up in his only at-bat getting an RBI single, extending it to a 14-game hitting streak for Gunnar. He's getting going. He's producing like the Gunnar Henderson that we know. But there's a few Orioles in this game that had some really big games in this game. The offense played well. The pitching was great. More importantly, the bullpen was amazing. Again, Tomoyuki Sugano did struggle a little bit. Didn't really go a lot of innings, but the bullpen did its job at the end of the day, and that's all you really need to do. But yeah, the Orioles win this game over the Yankees 5-3. Big win, and that means that the Orioles have cut their below 500 game deficit to 9 games. They are in the single digits right now in terms of games below 500, and this is what we've been waiting for. This is the production that we've been waiting to see, and this is what we've been really just waiting to see for the Orioles for a while. Ever since the Orioles hit double-digit games below 500, since then they have not been able to get below double digits. But now, finally, after over like a month and a half now of being double-digit games below 500, the Orioles are 9 games below 500. Again, they still got a lot of work to do, but they have made significant progress here recently in the past few weeks in cutting this deficit down and putting the Orioles in a position where they can really get back into the season. They just have to lock in, win some series moving forward, and just find their rhythm. And it really does feel like this team has a different energy. The energy feels different. The offense is just getting on base more. They're producing more runs organically. And the pitching has been excellent. And obviously, the starting pitching all the time isn't going to be necessarily amazing, but the bullpen for the most part, other than that game the other day against Tampa, the bullpen has been extremely solid for the Orioles this season, and they really come in clutch in today's game. So without further ado, let's just go over this game. So going over this Orioles and Yankees game, again, the Orioles get a huge win over the Yankees, and the Orioles are actually leading the season series over the Yankees 3-1. Obviously, we play the Yankees a ton of times this season. Division rivals and everything like that, you know their deal. But the Orioles get, again, a big win over the Yankees. They're up 3-1 in the season series over the Yankees, but in this particular series, they are up 1-0. And if they win one of the next 2 games, either tomorrow on Saturday or on Sunday, if they win one of the next 2, they will take this series from the Yankees, and that's all they need to focus on right now. And we don't actually play the Yankees for another 3 months after this weekend, so if they can come out with a series win over the Yankees, that means that they would have won both of their first 2 series against the Yankees, and you move forward with that. And the Orioles, over the past 2 years, have really had the Yankees' number. They've played very well against They played very well against them in 2023, and they played very well against them last season in 2024. And they're already starting off this season playing very well against the Yankees. And there's a lot of Orioles, a lot of the young guys at least too, have really expressed their hatred for the Yankees. And a lot of documentaries and interviews that you see, a lot of them kind of say that, they know to beat the Yankees. They know how important of a opponent they are. They know how big of an opponent they are. And they've been doing their thing. And the Yankees are also extremely cold right now, and we're playing the Yankees probably at the best time that we could because they are the coldest that they've been all season. They've now, I think, lost 7 of their last 8 games, and we could make it even worse tomorrow or on Sunday. So hopefully the Orioles can do that and get that going. But going over the offense in this game, also the Orioles record moves to 33-42. And to say that we're 9 games below 500, honestly, is so cool to see. This team went through a lot. This team was 18 games below 500, but we have literally since then cut that in half, and they are 9 games below 500. They have made significant progress throughout this season. They still got a lot of work to do to get to, being 500 at a reasonable time in the season. Obviously, the goal is to be at 500 or a little bit above that by the All-Star break, or by the trade deadline, really. That is kind of the goal, because we'll see whether the Orioles decide to sell, buy, or to stand still at the deadline. But that's still a little bit of ways away. It's still about a month away, so we'll see what happens with that. But again, the Orioles really have just been playing well. They've been playing hard. They've been getting clutch hits. They've been, getting runs organically, getting runs off of base hits and not necessarily all home runs. And it's really, really, really cool to see. But going over this Orioles offense, they had 11 total hits in this game, put up 5 runs on those 11 hits, left 8 guys on base, and went 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, which isn't horrible at all. But going over to the batters, Jackson Holliday leading off this game, he went 3 for 5 with a run scored. A 3-hit day by Jackson Holliday. He is one of 3 Orioles in this game that had multi-hit days. So Jackson Holliday, 3-hit game, averages up to a 260. Shout out to him. Obviously, he has had a breakout season this year. He's most likely going to make the All-Star game as the second baseman, which is going to be so cool to see Jackson Holliday make the All-Star game in really his first full season as a big leaguer. So that's really cool to see for Jackson. Shout out to him. He also had the most hits on the team with 3. And then Jordan Westburg in this game batting second. He went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Not a great game from Jordan. Had some really good defensive plays over at second base, but not necessarily a great day with the bat. But hopefully he can pick that up tomorrow, and we'll be good to go with that. And also with this lineup in general, whenever they posted the lineup earlier in the day, it kind of felt like this was a punt lineup, because it kind of just felt like they didn't want to play Max Fried, and like they were going to use those guys off the bench like Ryan O'Hearn, like Gunnar Henderson, like they did today. And they tried to do their best against Max Fried, which they did score 2 early runs against Max. And then the Yankees kind of, tied the game in the bottom of the first and was tied 2-2. And it was pretty much a tie. It was a 1-run game pretty much the entire time. The Yankees went up 3-2. The Orioles then tied it 3-3, and then the Orioles went up 5-3, and then that was the ball game after Felix Bautista got the save. We'll go over the pitching in just a second, but this starting lineup was nowhere near the best lineup that we could have rolled out there. There was no Gunnar starting. There was no Ryan O'Hearn starting. There was no Cedric as well. So this wasn't nearly the best lineup that we could have rolled out there. But, we got the job done, man. The most unexpected lineups that this Orioles team has had this year has really gotten the job done in a big way for the Orioles this season. But Ramon Laureano in this game, he goes 0 for 4 with a run scored. Ramon Urias with a absolutely huge solo home run in the 8th inning that got the Orioles the lead. It really was like the go-ahead home run in this game that got the Orioles the lead, and obviously they saved that, or they kept that lead in the bottom of the 8th and obviously in the bottom of the 9th when they won the game. But Ramon Urias, 1 for 5, the solo home run, absolutely huge. It was a tie game in the 8th inning, and then Ramon Urias hits that solo home run. It was a short porch homer. It was a short porch homer over in right field. You love to see it, man. Yankee Stadium. We love Yankee Stadium. We love the short porch home runs, and Ramon Urias was able to capitalize off of that. Colton Cowser in this game goes 1 for 3. Gary Sanchez in this game, returning to his old home in New York, goes 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. He was actually responsible for the first 2 runs scored in this game. Bases were loaded. Gary Sanchez got a huge RBI single, or huge 2-run or 2 RBI single in the first inning that got the Orioles the initial lead before it was immediately, taken from them and tied back up in the bottom of the first. But we'll go over more of that in just a second. Kobe Mayo in this game. Again, there was 3 Orioles in this game that had multi-hits. That was Jackson Holliday with 3, Gary Sanchez with 2, And Kobe Mayo with 2 hits in this game. Kobe Mayo goes 2 for 3 with an RBI, and he actually was the one that tied the game in the 6th inning. He had a big RBI single in the 6th inning to tie this game. And, I don't know what to say, man. Kobe Mayo, I've talked about him quite a bit over the past, week or so, but he has really been producing quite a bit for the Orioles. Not necessarily the most crazy, like 4 hit days or 3 hit days or 5 RBI days or whatever, but he's been going out there and producing at the role that he's at, which right now is around a 7, 8, 9 hitter, that which Kobe Mayo is. And today he goes 2 for 3 with an RBI. You'll take that every single day of the week. And Kobe Mayo's average is actually a 204 right now. So he's actually above a 200 average for the first time, I think, in his career, which is good to see. It's progress being made. Kobe Mayo, obviously, he's still super young, hasn't played a ton of MLB games. He hasn't really been able to necessarily get into a big rhythm, but ever since we moved him over to first, and he's pretty much been our everyday first baseman, he's found a rhythm, man. He's been producing. He has yet to hit his first major league home run. But when he does that, that's going to be a very exciting time. Still waiting on that for Kobe, and I think that playing in Yankee Stadium is going to be a perfect place for him to possibly hit it, but we'll see what happens with that. Ryan O'Hearn did pinch hit for Kobe. Ryan O'Hearn did pinch hit for Kobe Mayo late in the game, and Ryan O'Hearn, Rhino All-Star, as I should say, hopefully probably is going to be the starting DH, or the starting DH for the All-Star game. Which is going to be so cool to see Ryan O'Hearn get that opportunity. But Ryan O'Hearn, only 1 at-bat in this game, obviously as a pinch hitter. He goes 1 for 1. Dylan Carlson goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Luis Vasquez goes 0 for 3. And then Gunnar Henderson pinch hit for Vasquez, and he goes 1 for 1 with an RBI single that extended the Orioles' lead to a 2-run lead, which was obviously huge to see in the 8th inning. But going over to the pitching in this game, Tomoyuki Sugano, the starting pitcher for the Orioles in this game, did not have a great day. Really got worked in this game. His pitch count was really up there in this game for the amount of the amount of innings that he got through. Couldn't even get through 4 full innings in this game. Gets through 3.2 innings, gives up 7 hits, 3 runs, has 3 walks as well, with 4 strikeouts and a home run. That home run was to Aaron Judge in this game. But Tomoyuki Sugano, again, gives up 7 hits and 3 walks, so 10 total base runners Tomoyuki Sugano lets on. Gives up 3 runs, 7 total base runners, has 4 strikeouts in the process. Obviously, the solo homer to Aaron Judge, an 89 pitch count through 3.2 innings. That's not ideal at all. Not an ideal game for Sugano. His ERA goes up to a 3.55, which is still solid. Still very, 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 very solid for especially the Orioles starting staff. He does have the best ERA from any Orioles starting pitcher. So he's still having a good season. But Sugano did struggle today. This is most definitely his worst start he's had all season. 3.2 innings, 3 runs, not great from him. Also let up a lot of traffic. But shout out, once again, I've said this so many times this year, shout out to, and especially over the past few weeks, shout out to this bullpen, man. They struggled heavily, obviously, in that Tampa Bay loss that they had, which was the last loss that the Orioles actually had, was in that Tampa game where they blew an 8-run lead, and the bullpen just collapsed in that game. But again, the bullpen for the most part all season has been amazing. Keegan Aiken, Yennier Cano, Blewett, and Felix Bautista in this game all go, perfect. Well, not perfect, but they don't give up a run. Keegan Aiken, Yennier Cano, Scott Blewett, and Felix Bautista all do not give up a single run. Shout out to them. And someone that I really want to shout out in this game is Scott Blewett, who goes 2 perfect innings, 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, has 2 strikeouts in the process, only a 19 pitch count across 2 innings. Perfect innings from Scott Blewett, who obviously has been kind of a journeyman this season, but I think he's found a home in Baltimore. He's 3-0 on the season. He's been credited for 3 wins and no losses, which is cool to see for him. And then Felix Bautista, obviously, with a perfect 9th inning, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts, one of them being on Aaron Judge and the other one being on Jazz Chisholm. 16 saves for Felix. his 16th save of the year. Again, the bullpen played great. Keegan and Ynier got into some traffic, but Scott and Felix were able to be perfect in those 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. So shout out to Scott once again. An amazing game from him, 2 perfect innings, and you love to see it from the bullpen. And going over to tomorrow's game, which is game 2 of this 3-game series against the Yankees, it is going to be Zach Eflin versus Clark Schmidt. This is going to be another good pitching matchup. This is probably, again, like the second best pitcher that the Yankees could throw out there. Well, like maybe Rodon, but Clark Schmidt's had a really good year as well. Zach Eflin, he has struggled a little bit, but for the most part, he's been solid. He has had some pretty bad starts and also some really, really great starts as well. But Eflin, not the greatest ERA. Clark Schmidt, pretty good ERA. So I would say that the Yankees, at least statistically wise, have the advantage in this game in terms of pitching. Zach Eflin's given up 12 home runs, which is quite a bit. But hopefully Zach Eflin can go out here today and have a great game. His last start was not good whatsoever against Tampa. When he played Tampa, he gave up 12 hits and 7 runs in his last outing. So hopefully, it can't really get much worse than that. So hopefully he can go out here against the Yankees tomorrow and just play well. And hopefully the Orioles can win this series off of Zach Eflin's start tomorrow. And again, Zach has had some really bad starts and some really good starts. So his ERA is a little bit odd. It's not necessarily all telling of how his season has gone. But hopefully he can go out there tomorrow, bounce back from his last start, and have a great game and get the Orioles the win. And then we can go up 2-0 in the series, go look for the sweep on Sunday, and then also move this to being 8 games below 500. And one more thing that I wanted to look at is actually the standings real quick in the wild card. And right now the Orioles are currently, as it stands right now, 5.5 games out of a playoff spot. Again, they still got a lot of work to do, but there is still a lot of the season left. And I really do believe that they can come back from this, man. If this team makes the playoffs after everything that happened, I don't know, man. I'd be so proud of them. But there's still a lot of work to be done. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. Whether you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, I appreciate all the support. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video as well. Leave a comment if you want as well. And if you're on Spotify, make sure to follow up on the channel and follow up on the page as well. And whatever platform you're listening on, make sure to click the link in the bio and to check out the socials, check out the Instagram, check out the Twitter. I'm live tweeting every single Orioles game and every single piece of Ravens news as well. And I'm also giving updates on my Instagram and on my Twitter as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this and listening and watching to this episode. Whatever you're doing, I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me, all the love and everything like that. I try and show it back to y'all. But again, thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this and having a ton of fun doing it. And this is just the beginning, man. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And yeah, I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow night, probably around the same time that this episode's up, talking about Game 2 of that Yankees series. And Orioles get a big win today. Hopefully they can go out there and win the series tomorrow and then go for the sweep on Sunday. That's the perfect ideal scenario, but at the same time, it is the Yankees. It is a tough opponent. They are really cold right now, but the talent is there for them. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a great rest of y'all's day. Again, go O's, go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.